In a stranger-than-fiction twist, the FBI recently added a former producer of true crime TV shows to their most wanted list. 73-year-old Carole McDonnell is the former CEO of Bellum Entertainment, a company that produced shows like Corrupt Crimes, Deep Undercover, and I Married a Murderer. In 2017, Bellum reportedly began facing an onslaught of financial problems. Deadline reported that year the company was facing issues with their line of credit, and the California Labor Commissioner was investigating wage claims lodged against the company by dozens of employees. The FBI alleges that in July of 2017, McDonnell, quote, knowingly and with the intent to defraud, came up with an elaborate ruse to scam various financial institutions out of close to $30 million. Authorities allege she maintained she was an heiress with ties to a wealthy aviation family and would have access to an $80 million trust. Over the next 10 months, with that phony story, she was able to obtain $14.7 million from one bank and con an additional $15 million from other institutions. In December 2018, she was charged with bank fraud and aggravated identity theft. 7 years later, the FBI added McDonnell to the Bureau's most wanted list, claiming that they believe the former executive is currently in Dubai. Former FBI agent Dr. Rhonda Glover Reese joins Forbes True Crime to break down the case. Hi everybody, I'm Brittany Lewis. I am the host of Forbes True Crime. Joining me now is Dr. Rhonda Glover Reese. She's served in the FBI for over 30 years and is now a law enforcement career coach. Dr. Reese, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed our time before, so I'm looking forward to this conversation as well.
Me too, and I'm really looking forward to getting your expertise on this case that really sounds like it's made for TV, right? Former true crime producer was added to the FBI's most wanted list. And before we get into the details of that case, I just want you to talk to us about being added to the FBI's most wanted list. I mean, what type of suspected criminal gets added there?
Well, someone that is really, they really did something that really involved the FBI to even take a look. And it was the amount of money involved, the number of people involved, the type of activity that was involved. In being placed on the FBI's most wanted list, it gives visibility to the investigation. It allows people to learn more about what this case is, what is it centered on, and it really, it can really open some doors to people that may have seen that individual walking around, just milling about, connecting with the community, but yet and still they are a fugitive from justice.
And let's talk about what exactly it does to the investigation, because the person we're talking about today was charged a few years ago. Now she's added to the FBI's most wanted list. What does this do for them?
Well, what it does for the individual that is being sought, it puts them on notice. It allows them, and see what's interesting. Let's hope that she knows. And she may not even know, but chances are she does, because of the resurgence of what's going on in the investigation. She was indicted in 2018, and it is 2025. So there have been some things that have happened throughout this investigation. For some people, they may say, well, that's such a long time. Well, sometimes investigations take a while. It takes agents, they have to be dogmatic in terms of really trying to find a source of information. And when you think about where she reportedly may be, and that is in Dubai, we don't have a extradition treaty per se, but we do have an agreement with the UAE, the United States does. So they're able to exchange information and intelligence and just really garner all kinds of different things that the FBI may not have looked into, but they've been able to provide.
And I thought for a while, and I think this might be a common misconception, the worst of the worst are on the FBI's most wanted list. I mean, you had to really commit some heinous crime to be on there. But this is a white collar crime. She was charged with bank fraud and aggravated identity theft. Since it's non-violent, why is it still most wanted? Just because how much money was involved here?
Yeah, it's the level. It's the level of it's just egregious. I mean, when you talk about the totality, it was 30 over $30 million, and then 15 million was from the Bank of California, and then the remainder was from different institutions. And the way that she did it and how she was able to do it, and based on information, she could be very well doing that same thing now. She could very well be doing that activity now.
And then I'm curious, the FBI is pouring a lot of time into this investigation, I'm sure. I'm assuming a lot of money. She's still, as you said, on notice from the FBI. If and when someone gets caught from being on the most wanted list, do they typically get the book thrown at them just because of how much time was poured into this investigation?
Well, they're going to get what is called for that particular crime. So she left. She had an idea that she was being looked at based on the bank. I believe that the bank, they realized that this was fraudulent activity. They tried to reach out for her. They tried to connect with her, and they weren't able to do it. And so their next a logical step was to reach out for the FBI and for the FBI to get involved. And so based on what she's done, and they'll bring her, hopefully get her back to the United States so she can face her crime, be 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 like one on one with it, and be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Now I want to get into the details of this case and get your perspective as a former FBI agent. Mary Carole McDonnell is the former CEO of Bellum Entertainment. This company produced shows like I Married a Murderer, Corrupt Crimes, and It Takes a Killer. So they were producing true crime shows. Bellum Entertainment then reportedly was facing financial troubles in 2017, and that's when authorities alleged McDonnell, quote, knowingly and with the intent to defraud, came up with a scheme to defraud multiple financial institutions. And she was scamming them out of millions of dollars, according to the FBI. The FBI says that she claimed that she was an heiress to the McDonnell aircraft family, and she would eventually get her hands on a secret trust worth about $80 million. That was not true. She had no access to a trust, and she was not an heiress to this family and to their fortune. But she was able to obtain over $14 million from a California bank through the scheme. And then the FBI alleges that through May of 2018, she was able to defraud multiple other financial institutions out of an additional $15 million. So what are your thoughts on this ruse in general?
When I first read about it, heard about it, it was just incredible. She was able to use her status to learn more about criminal activity. And so you don't know for sure whether she learned how to produce fraudulent documents. She did work with her attorney, and she had to provide a lot of documents in order to get that much money. But she was able to get all of that information past the bank because the bank approved it. So either the bank didn't do its due diligence, which it appears they may not have, or those documents were just incredible for her to present. They were just for them to approve that much money.
And is this a slam dunk case in your opinion? Because I'm thinking of cases that involve money and involve financial institutions. I mean, there has to be a paper trail, right?
Yeah, there has to be a paper trail, but no case is slam dunk. No case, no investigation. That's why it's important that the FBI continue to do its due diligence. They continue to investigate. They continue to talk to people, talk to relatives, talk to people that know her or knew her at some point, and stay connected with the law enforcement officials Dubai. That's incredibly important that they continue to and generate that intelligence that's going to lead them to places that they did not think that they would be able to go. And so that's why it's important that she's on the FBI's most wanted list, that people will keep their eyes open, hopefully, and anybody that sees her will call and let the FBI know where she is.
To that point, the FBI does believe she's in Dubai, and back in 2022, the DOJ announced that the US and UAE signed a mutual legal assistance treaty. Like you were saying, I mean, that deal is meant to strengthen cooperation in criminal investigations and prosecutions between the two countries. Since the FBI thinks she's there, I mean, what do those conversations look like? How hard would it be to get her back from Dubai to US soil?
Well, it's going to depend if she is still in Dubai, where they believe that she is. The beauty of that agreement that was signed in 2022 is that they do have a table of conversation. There's a conversation there. They're engaged with the UAE and the United States are engaged with one another, and hopefully they will adhere to that. They will say, okay, if we find her, we will bring her back. And so it sounds like they've opened the door to conversations. They've provided intelligence that says that yes, we believe that she is here, because it's she could be hiding in plain sight. And so the importance is that the FBI continue to build the relationship and continue to have conversations with the law enforcement officials in Dubai to encourage them to continue to garner information and encourage them to help the FBI bring her back to the United States.
And McDonnell is 73 years young right now. Does age play a factor at all when the FBI is looking for someone?
No, no, and it shouldn't. It shouldn't. When a case agent has a case, we're just not, the FBI is just not going to turn a blind eye to criminal activity. They're going to go after anyone that is performing a criminal activity, particularly if it's impacting so many different people. I mean, not just the banks. I mean, she had people that she owed money to, the people that worked for her production company. There are people that were owed a lot of money. One of the individuals that worked for her, he actually moved based on her word, based on her saying, I really need you to come here to work with the company, to be transferred to another location so you can continue to do the work that you're doing. I really, really need you. I can imagine what that conversation was like for her to get that individual to take on that position. But they're owed money. And so the concern is for some of those people, will they ever get their money back? They feel like they're standing in a line, and they feel like they may not even get the money that's owed to them, the money that she fraudulently obtained. She did not make sure that they were made whole.
And she was indicted a couple of years ago. The FBI added her to the most wanted list earlier this month. And when you just Googled something like true crime around those days where the FBI added her, I mean, every headline was former true crime TV producer now on the FBI's most wanted list, just because, I mean, that's an engaging story. So that means there's a lot of eyeballs on this now. So what specifically, from the perspective of someone who's worked in the FBI, what specifically are you looking out for next?
Well, I'm staying engaged with those people in the UAE. I am really building that relationship. I'm making sure that headquarters is involved. I'm making sure that the Department of State is involved. I'm making sure that I'm having conversations with people that she knew, people that she interact with, and just really keeping it at the forefront. That's important because if you're not keeping it at the forefront, keeping it front of mind, then people are going to forget. Because the agents that are working this investigation, they have time invested. They have a job to do. And so the way that they continue to make sure that people are really staying on track is to continue to garner that intelligence, continue to build those relationships, continue to get them to really focus and say, we're looking, just having those conversations. This is what we're looking for. Can you help us? We really want to get her back here. She's hurt a lot of people through her fraudulent activity, and just making it clear to them the importance of the information and how it's going to help others in order to get her back, because what she's doing and what she's done, because they have information that she is still continuing to be involved in fraudulent activity that is hurtful to other people.
Well, we will certainly keep our eyes on this case. And Dr. Rhonda Glover Reese, I appreciate your expertise as always, and I hope you can join me again soon.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to do that.